pop star preacher.
Very interesting film that deals with one man's choice that will alter his eternity. It's an interesting film because when I began writing and producing this film, I didn't think of it as being so much part of me, but it is. As my family began to unfold this to me, that the story kind of revolves around me. And as I took myself back from the film and I watched the film, I realized that it does have a lot to do with me. Now, I've never been a pop star, but I've always been a musician my whole life. I've sang in the church. I've been part of a singing group. I've made 4 CDs. I have a studio in my home. I mean, yeah, I fancy myself sort of a singer and a musician. But while I've never been on the big stage, I have done concerts. I have performed and all, but I've never made it to the big time. I can relate to Jackson Bradley because I know what it's like to have a dream and to be thrown into something and to be asked to do something that you've never wanted to do. Tragedy struck me several years ago in the fact that I lost my father. My father was probably one of the greatest preachers of all time. And I say that because I believe that with all my heart, and I think he really was. When he passed away, the church where he was pastoring came and asked me to take over. That was a hard decision for me because all through my life I said I didn't want to do this. I never wanted to follow in my father's footsteps. I never wanted to preach the gospel. I wanted to be just me. And I know where Jackson is coming from in the film where he said, I don't want to do this. You think you're going to just take all from me and I'm just going to fall down and worship you and do what you want me to do? Man's nature is to say, hey, I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to do me. But sometimes it's not about us. It's all about God. God's plan for our lives is a lot better than anything we could ever do, even though we don't want to believe that. We believe that what we do is best for us. Our plans for us are best for us. But really, God's plans for us are best for us. I didn't realize that until I lost my father. Jackson Bradley had to experience tragedy and nightmares to come to that realization. Thankfully, I didn't have to do that. Some people are harder to convince that God loves them and that God's concerned and He wants the best for them. There was a preacher whose son became rebellious and didn't want to follow in his father's footsteps and didn't want to do what the Lord wanted him to do in preaching the gospel. And that man had an accident and was paralyzed. And he had no choice but to lay on a hospital bed and look upwards to the heavens. Then he realized there is one God, and His plans are what matters, not ours. Would you be willing to give up eternity for your dreams? That's a hard thing to say. Many would. Jackson Bradley finds himself in that situation. Jackson Bradley loses his father. Jackson Bradley loses a good night's rest, shall I say, in witnessing a nightmare future that, if he doesn't change, will be all eternity. Does Jackson Bradley go back to the church? Or does he give up his eternity for his dreams? I guess we'll all find out April 19th. Pop star preacher. Be watching for it.
Jackson Bradley left the church ministry for the fame and fortune of the music industry. But when tragedy strikes Jackson's life, he's offered the chance to come back to the church.
You know what? I guess you figure you got it figured all out, don't you? You figure you have it figured all out. Oh, I'll take the most important man in his life away from him, and then he'll have to do what I say. News flash! I run my life. Me, not you. And there is nothing you can do about it. I hope you understand that. There is nothing you can do about it.
With his refusal, he is confronted with a look into his nightmarish future if he continues on the path he's on. Will Jackson Bradley change his ways, or has he come too far to turn back now? Pastor Jason S Lockard stars as Jackson Bradley in this intense drama of one man's choice that will alter his eternity. Lighthouse Pictures presents Pop Star Preacher.